Tuko live sasa. Hi. Hi,
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 how are
hi.
you?
Let's fine, thank you. Today we have a special guest. So let us wait for one or two people to join us. Welcome, guys. Anybody there? Anybody there, guys? I hope you guys have not yet gone to bed. Anybody, one or two people? Or we can just start. Oh, yeah, we have a few. Welcome, welcome. Who's there? Let me update my invite some few people. Welcome, guys. Oh, hi, Mkenya Marekani. Mkenya Marekani, welcome. So I think we shall just start. Maybe people are sleeping. They will join us along the way. So welcome to today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Cynthia, just in case you're new, just in case you're coming back. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. Today we have a special guest who will be speaking to us about the green card. Yes. So Charities Bubble USA is in the house. Introduce yourself, ma'am.
uh, Thank you for having me. My name is Charity Nganga, and I live here in US. Yeah, I've been here for now 7 years, and I'm living the dream. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So US where? Which
I live in
state?
Kansas.
Which
I live in Kansas.
Oh, Kansas.
In Kansas, it's in the center of the US map. In a town called Wichita. I live in Wichita, Kansas. That's where I've been living for the last
Oh,
7 years. Yep. Yeah.
oh, okay. So immediately you won your green card. You went
Mhm.
straight to Wichita and you have never moved to other provinces. You have never
No.
changed, right?
Actually, my
Ah,
green card, my green card journey was interesting, like very very interesting because I always used to tell my husband like I know that one day we will go to the US, and then my husband would be like, "You're just dreaming. You're a dreamer." So and it wasn't we didn't have anybody who lived in the US. So like when you don't have someone who lives abroad, you don't know how you can go. But I had this friend when I was in Kenya. I used to have my college. I used to train hairdressing and beauty, and I had my next door friend who used to have a cyber. So she came in and said, "Can I fill a green card for you?" I was like, "Are you trying to make money out of me or what's going on?" But she was like, "No, let's try. Maybe you can win." So and that's what we did, and I forgot about it. And she came back in May to check, and the funny thing is that I had lost my confirmation number. I didn't have it. So we had to look for it. And then when she went and checked, she found that we had won the green card. Yeah. Mhm. That's what happened.
wow, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is interesting. Just a first try and you won
It
it.
was just the first try. And like I never like put my mind in it. Even my husband never put his mind in it. He was just like, it's just something that you do and you forget about. But it just turned out to be, we had won the green card. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was, yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Wow. So take
Mhm.
us through the process. After you have applied for the green card and found out that you won. So what next? How take us through the process.
So basically, what we did, because I like to tell my journey, like how I did, is that after we had checked and we had been selected, we had to process. You have to process, give them all your information, and tell them who you are, and of course, add the people who you had put when you did your first application. So when we did our green card, my husband was there and our children were there. So when we came to fill, because there's a form that you're supposed to fill called a DS-260. Now, the DS-260, you're supposed to tell about yourself, what you do, about your spouse, and about your children. Everything must be there, the date of birth and everything, so that you can send it. They give you a certain address where you send the DS-260 after you have filled it out, so that they can process it. And that is the information that they are going to use when you go to your interview. So the first thing that you do is fill out that DS-260 and send it. So when we sent our DS-260, we waited, and then they sent us an email. Now that email contained the address where we would go for our medicals, because we had to go for our medicals, and the date to go to the for our visa interview, which if I can remember very well, the days were very, very close. It was just a week apart for us to go for our medical and for us to go for our interview. So we had when we won the green card, we had started thinking about funds, because you cannot process a green card if you do not have money. You have to have lots and lots of money. If you convert the dollar to a shilling, it's a lot of money basically. So we went for the medical exam, and we had to pay. I think we paid, if I can remember very well, we paid like 50,000 Kenya shillings. And that's where they do your medical. They want to know if you're fit enough to come and live in the US, if you're able to work, if you don't have any like diseases that can be communicable to other people. They have to make sure that you're fine. And then after the medical exam is when we had, and I remember there's something that we didn't have when we were going for the medical exam. They had written that they had a requirement for passport photos. But when we went for a medical exam, we didn't have the right ones, because they give you the measurements, and they have a certain way that the photos is supposed to be. So when we went to the medical exam, actually they never let us to go and do the medical exam. They sent us to another place in Village Market for us to take our photos, so that we could come back and do the medical exam. So there are things that you really, really require. And another thing is that the passports. When we filled our green card, we did not require passports, but I know currently the first applicant has to have a passport. So at our time, we never required any passports, but after you win your green card, make sure that you have those passports in hand. So finance is the key, because you have to process a lot of things. So after we went for our medical exam, then we waited and we had to go for our visa interview. We went very early in the morning, and then our appointment was supposed to be at 7 a.m. But when we went inside, they had to send us out, because they said that our medical results had not come back. So I was very anxious. But on the other hand, my husband was like, "Don't worry. If we did the medical exam, we just have to wait." So we waited, and the consular called us at around 10. And when we went for the visa exam, for the visa interview, we had our children. Like, everybody has to attend that interview. There is no way that you're gonna go, you and your husband, or you leave the kids. No, all of you have to go for the visa interview. So all of us were there, and we went. The only thing that they asked from us, because remember we had filled out the DS-260 and we had told them everything that we do. So the only thing that we required to take in like, it has to be in paper, because that's proof. It's our KCSE certificate, a good conduct, our marriage certificate. Because if you are married, you have to have proof of marriage. You know the way we get married in Kenya and you start using your husband's name and you haven't done it legally. No, here it's all about paperwork. You have to show proof that you are married to that person. Otherwise, if you don't have that, then there is nothing. So paperwork is very important when you're going to for your visa interview. Now, another thing is confidence. You have, it's like a job interview. So when you're going there, don't go there looking shy. And there's something that I learned when I came here in the US. And actually, someone had told me that when you're going to the interview, you have to talk to that consular when you're looking on them eye to eye. We are not used to that. That's something that I had to learn. So when you look at them eye to eye, when you make eye contact, it's very important because they see that confidence. And when you have a green card, it's easy. It's very, very easy. They are not gonna, and you have filled out your DS-260 just the way you had applied your green card. They didn't ask us many questions. Actually, that lady, so we had 2 kids by that time, and our kids were shown a play area. So they were just playing there on the side. So that lady asked us, "Are those your kids?" We said yes. And then she asked us, "Have you been married to other people?" We said no. And that was it. She was like, now I know you're gonna be very happy because I just gave you the visa to fly and go and live in the US. Like that was it. They just gave us our visa, and oh my god, I was in heaven at that time. Oh my gosh, I've never been so happy. So the green card, what I can say is that it's a good thing, but you have to do what they require you to do to the T. Do not change anything. Have all your documents and be ready to tell what you wrote in your DS-260. If they ask you any question from there, answer it the way you put it on that DS-260. Yeah, so that was how we went and we got our visa. Yeah.
I have a question. And I know someone might be wondering how much is the medical? How much does it cost for per person? So that we have a rough idea. Mm-hmm.
I cannot remember very well, but I know for a medical exam for all of us, we spent closer to not less than 70,000 Kenya shillings. Yeah, we spent closer to that because it was 4 of us. It was me and my husband and my 2 children. But why the fee went very high is because when they normally do a TB skin test. They have to test you if you have TB. And Africans, you remember when you're born, you have that vaccine for TB. So basically, when you go to when they go and insert that test, it's a little test that's done on your skin. Mostly, if you have had the BCG vaccine, it will turn positive. So I remember mine turning positive and my son's. So we had to go back and do chest X-rays for them just to know that we didn't have TB. So that's why our fee went very high because we had to pay for those X-rays to be done. But basically, I would say like 70,000 Kenya shillings is what we spent for medical exams. Now, on the other hand, when we went for our visa interview, they make you pay before. Like you don't pay after you have been given the visa. They will take your money before they give you the visa. So every person had to pay 30,000 Kenya shillings. So we paid 120,000 Kenya shillings for 4 visas. So roughly, if I say we had like 200,000, we were able to process the medical and to do the visa. 200,000 Kenya shillings. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that's quite pricey.
Yeah, it is.
That's quite. And how many years was that? How many years was that?
That was 7 years ago. I've been here in the US for 7 years. So that was 7 years ago. So maybe so much has changed since that time, because 7 years is a long time. Because like even basically something like a passport, they didn't require someone to have a passport, but now the first applicant has to have a passport. So I know so much has changed, but you have to look at the range of that figure. It can be more, but it's not going to be less than that.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's good to know. So yeah, so now you have passed your medicals. Now it is what next after that?
So after we passed, after we got, so after we are done with the interview and they have given us the visa, they did when we left our passports there in the American embassy. They don't give you the visa and you go with it home, and they will send your visa in an address through the DHL. So when you're the DS-260 is where you write where the post office that you want your whatever to go, because the consular doesn't have time to ask you which address do you want me to send your visa to. No, that one has to be done before. So we had to wait for our visas to be sent to the address we sent through DHL. And in Nairobi, there's a place that's it's called Nairobi Roundabout. There's a DHL there. That's where we went for our visas. But after we knew that we had gotten the visa, we went back home and sold everything. We sold everything, even spoons, everything. Because we needed the money to fly out to come here. And you have to have savings. It's good to have savings. It's good to have something that you can use in case of an emergency, because when you win a green card, you don't expect people are going to help you. You're not going to rely, unless you're very rich, you're not going to rely on people to help you on that. No, they will not. So we had to sell everything. I remember my husband had to sell. He had a car here. He sold it. I sold my business. We sold everything. Actually, we had to sell most of our household items because we still needed a lot of money to process for the ticket. Yeah, so it cost us a lot. And so when we went there for the medical, in that office, there's a place that it's a travel agency. So there's an agent who approached us, and she said that she was going to help us with the ticket. So we ended up paying for the ticket. Every child and my husband and I, we paid 70,000 for each person. So that's still a chunk of money there that that you pay. So you have to be looking at a figure of like maybe on over budget. You will use like 1 million Kenya shillings to do everything, because I haven't counted any other expenses that we did in the middle. You know what I mean? Getting our passports and all that stuff, I haven't counted. But when we did our budget, after we had come to the US, it came to close to 1 million Kenya shillings that we used to process all that process of the green card. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you know, the thing is, when we are back home, we hear of the green card and they say it is free.
No, it's not.
You know, they say,
no, it is not. A green card, you have to have money to process it. Otherwise, if you don't have money, then it's nothing. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you at all, because they expect you to process it. They expect you to do everything for yourself. When you come here in the US, you have to do everything to yourself. It's not that ni ile whatever that ni unaita harambe. No, you have to do everything for yourself. Yeah. It takes a lot of money to process the green card, especially when you have a family. It takes a lot of money. And even for a single person, it's not easy. It's a lot of money. So you need to have a lot of savings. Yeah. It's not free.
okay. So now you have sold everything. You are on a plane on your way to to America. Tell us upon landing. Let us start from there.
God.
How was your journey?
How was your journey? Because we were coming in, the weather was so bad. So we went to Europe. Europe we didn't do much because we had an overlay of like 2 hours. And then now we flew to Chicago. That was our port of entry. A port of entry is where they are going to ask for your documentation. And I forgot something. Let me remind you something. When they send your passports to the DHL, they are going to send you an envelope that is closed. It's wrapped. And they tell you that envelope, do not open it. So that envelope, when you get it, don't make a mistake of opening that, because you'll have to carry it when it is sealed until you get to the port of entry. I don't know what is there in that envelope, but they will give you, it was a yellow envelope, I remember, that we carried. So when we got to the port of entry, the weather was so bad. And it took us a while because we went and gave the envelope to the pass. It was a policeman actually, and I think those are the immigration policemen. And then we gave them our passports and everything. So they opened it and they read. I don't know what was there because it was a sealed envelope. And then they told us we could go through and now get into the US, because that's a border. So if they don't let you on the other side, that means that you will not go back. So when you hear people have been turned back, they're turned back at the port of entry. So so when we reached there, I remember we had to sleep in the airport because the weather was very, very, very bad. So the funny thing is that we did not know where to buy food. So we went to the airline, to those airline people, and we asked them, where are we gonna eat? Because we don't know like anything. So they gave my husband some vouchers to go and order some food, and we went to McDonald's. But when we went to McDonald's, we did not know what to order. We do not know hamburgers. We do not know fries. All that food, like that food information, we had no clue. We were clueless. And then when we went to that McDonald's, that guy was not helpful at all. So he thought that we knew, but we did not. You know, like when you go somewhere and you're just looking and you don't know what to order, but you have the money. Like we just looked. We didn't know, but I remember there was a lady who was in front of us, and then my husband asked her, and she was like, "This is what you can order. Look at that screen and tell them the number. Then you're able to order." So so we slept on the airport, and then the next day we flew and came to Wichita. So why did we come to Wichita? And you had asked me like, wow, how I've been in Wichita for 7 years. Yeah, we came to Wichita because of our host. Because when you win the green card, they will require you to tell them where you're going. So our host was in Wichita. But I have a story about my host, because we were initially wanted to go to California. That's where our host was. And he was a really nice guy, and he gave us all these promises. He even used to tell us about California, like what to expect and everything. But I think that guy, at the back of his mind, he never thought that we would get the visa. So when we got the visa, yeah, he never thought, because now later on, that's when we found out that he thought, people go to the embassy and they're denied.
Yes.
And
yes.
and people who do not understand the green card lottery will think that when you go to the embassy, you are going to be denied. Now, unless you do not follow their rules, that's when you will be denied a visa. But if you are truthful and you have done what they require, they have no reason of denying you a visa. So this guy was supposed to take us to California. He was supposed to host us in California. And then, so my husband called him after we had gotten our passports from the DHL office. Do you know what he said? Oh, I cannot host you because I live with another person. And then we were shocked. We didn't know what to do. Like we just
that was last minute. Last minute.
That guy, he refused on the last minute. We had even started selling almost all our stuff, because my husband has sold his car. We had sold our business. So that guy on the last minute, actually, because my husband was calling him to tell him, now we are going to board the plane. We are going to, when should we buy the ticket? So when are you available to come and pick us? He said no, that he lived with another person. That we shouldn't host us. Can you imagine? Yep.
So I have a question then. It means when you win the green card, you have to have a host.
Oh, you must have a host.
Oh, yeah, that is something.
Okay. Because when you look at their requirements, if you go to their website and you look at their requirements, they say that they have to be sure that you're not a public charge. That means that you're not loitering everywhere, looking for places to live. They have to make sure that you're going somewhere. So if you do not, if you don't have a host, they will not give you a visa, because where are you going? Who is going to guide you? You need a guidance.
Oh.
So a host is very, very important. Very, very, very important. You must have a host. But do not look for a host before you win the green card. Look for a host after you have won the green card. Yeah. Because you'll put the address of the host on your DS260. you will do that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And then, for example, I'm asking for someone who doesn't maybe have a family or a friend in the US. Is
Right.
there a website where there is a number of hosts where you can request to talk to them and then they can agree, or how does it go?
No,
If you don't have time. Mhm.
you have to know someone, and for us it was very hard because we didn't have relatives, we didn't even have friends who lived in the US. So that guy had been referred to us by actually a relative, and that relative of ours really felt bad because that guy bailed out on us like the last minute. So basically you have to look for someone, you have to have a friend who will connect you with someone who is kind enough to host you, because it takes kindness for someone to host you and show you the way in the US, because you're not going to know where to go. So you have to, maybe if you have a relative, it's okay.
Yes.
If you don't have a relative, then look for a friend. Because and when you come on this side in the US, you get to understand more things, because I have friends who are who are born here and everything, and they tell us, you want to tell me that because of you don't have somewhere to live, you cannot be given a visa? So I don't know that process very well, but some people, if they knew information, because even the white people, they don't know so much about the green card. They have been born here, so why should they bother about something like that? You see what I mean? They wouldn't.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you know a friend, look for a person who is kind enough that is going to host you. But just so you know, when you win the green card, you must have a host. So it can be a friend, it can be a relative, it doesn't matter. Because when you're, and another thing that I can stress here is that the host should not be worried about hosting a person who has a green card. Because a person who has a green card, when you land in the US, you go, they give you a social security number, you go and get your ID. And that takes like less than a week. You can have a job in less than a week, and then you work. You're paid every 2 weeks, and then you can move out. You know what I mean? Like it is not so hard, especially if someone has a green card. So people should not be afraid of hosting people who have come here with a green card. No, it's very, very it's easy. So you have to know someone who lives here. That's very important. But for us, in
Oh,
our case, we were hosted by a stranger. We didn't know that guy. Actually, I just say it just, when God wants to bless you, He's gonna bless you no matter what. That's how I say, because we
yes,
didn't know
yes,
the guy who hosted us. We had no
yes.
clue who he was. So my husband had this friend. He went and talked to, because we were stranded. We were really stranded. We didn't know what to do. So he went and talked to this lady, and this lady had a brother who lived here, and that brother found a host for us. So we were hosted by a very young man, and actually he hosted us for like 3 months, and I will forever be grateful for that guy because of just coming in through for us for the last minute. Yeah. So you must have a host. They won't give you a visa if you do not have a host. Actually, if they don't know where you're going. And the host, when you go there, they will, maybe they might not even tell you a host, they will tell you what's your address. So the address
Oh,
is it's an address, because the housings here, every house has a number. So that host, so like me, in my house, we have a number. Now that number is our address. So you might go to the American embassy and they ask you, which address are you going to? So they are referring to your host. You must have a host. It's very, very important. Yeah. Mhm.
okay. So
Yeah.
your host ghosted on you last minute.
He
So
bailed
you had
just last minute. We were stranded. Yeah. We were just, like, oh my. So I don't know. Like, I'm like, really? Yeah. He
and
did.
all along you had even filled his address on your
Our
papers.
address, let me tell you, that guy really messed us up. Our address was in California, right? And we have found
Yes.
a host who is in Kansas. So our green cards were sent to California because that was where our address was. So when we came here, we did a lot of work. We had to call them, call the immigration where the green card was coming from, and tell them that we had changed our address and we had moved to a different location. So we had to wait. We had to wait for our green card to come to where we were, because it didn't get lost. It's not that it's going to get lost, but simply because we changed the address. Because when you change an address, you're supposed to update wherever your documents are coming from. You're supposed to update them and tell them, I have moved from this address and come to this address. So we didn't know all that, and we didn't do all that when that guy bailed out on us the last minute. So what we did is that we came here, but luckily when you have a passport and you have come here with a green card, because when the visa has a certain number that they will process for you. So when we went for our social security, they were able to give us our social security number, because you must have a social security number to be able to work in the US, and we were able to go and get our ID. So it was, I would say, like, it was just the hand of God that we were able to do all that. But a host bailing out of someone and refusing to host someone when you have promised someone that you're going to host them, that's wrong. Like, you really mess up that person. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do.
So now you have found a new host. How was your stay? How did life begin? You know, how was your journey?
So basically,
Now,
when we went to live with our host, he showed us where to get the social and everything. And then I had two small kids, so I never worked for the first year that I lived in the US. I never worked. But my husband, he got a job, and he was on the job, and it was hard on us because my husband did not want to buy a car before we had a place to live. He told me, I think a home is more important than a car. So I know my husband drove a bike to work closer to 6-7 months before he was able to get a car. So we started on a very rough road, because can you imagine, someone is living in the US, they're driving a bike, but we had an apartment, because when he got a job, we moved out from our host and went to live with in an apartment, because it's not that our host was bad. He was really nice, but he was just a single guy. And we have kids. When you are a parent, and when you have kids, and you just feel like kids, sometimes you can't control them. So I was feeling like, and I've never lived in someone else's house, so I was still not very comfortable. But that guy he really did all his best to make us comfortable, but we knew that we couldn't be able to stay there for a long time. So we went and lived in an apartment. And then after I had got my green card and everything, is when I went and did my CNA. CNA is a caregiver job, whereby you go and take care of the old people. So I worked as a CNA for 4 months. But then I always had a dream of going back to school. My husband did not want to go back to school when he came here, because he's business oriented. And right now he's having his own business. He's doing very well. So me, I wanted to go to school. So as soon as I worked a little bit, I was like, no, I can't do this, because I was working so hard and I was getting tired, and the money was not enough. So, and I didn't want to work many hours, because I have children to take care of. And here in the US, you have to do everything for yourself. You have to take care of your kids. You have to go to work. You have to do everything, because you're not going to have a helper. You can't afford. It's very, very expensive to hire a nanny around. You can't afford. And also there is daycare, so you can take your kids to the daycare, but it's still very expensive. You won't afford it. So I decided to go to school. So what I did, I enrolled, because it doesn't matter what you have done in Kenya. Forget about that education. When you come here, you'll start doing it's called general education. So I did most of my classes online. That way I could be able to, I'm in class, and at the same time I'm watching my kids, and then I'm going to work. I used to work just 3 days a week, so that I could just balance, because you still need the money even if you want to go to school. So I did my prerequisites for nursing for 4 years, because I was doing one and then I stop, I do another one and then I stop. And it took persistence and all that stuff. You know, when you have kids and you're going to school, it can be tiring and you can give up. And then after you have done the gen eds, it's not a guarantee that you'll go to nursing school. No, they have the nursing school is very, very competitive. Everybody, I feel, I think that everybody who comes to the US, most people, a higher percentage want to go to healthcare. It's very good because it's very paying. So the schools, to get into a nursing school program, it's hard. You must have very high scores, and sometimes it might take time, because I know I applied 3 times before I got in. But finally I got in. There's a test that's called a TIS test that you have to do, and that one really it's a hard one. So, but finally I was able to pass that test. I did it twice actually, and then I passed, and then I went and did my nursing, and right now I'm a licensed practical nurse, and I'm looking forward to going back to school in January so that I can get an associate degree on nursing. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. That's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Good. Oh, so, okay. How did you find, parenting, trying to balance all this? How was it for you? You are alone here. Did you have any help taking care of the kids, or how was it?
No, since we became with my husband, we have set up like a schedule whereby if I was going to school, my husband would go to work at night, especially when I went to nursing school, because my nursing school, the general eds, I did them online, but the nursing school, I had to go to class physically. So when I was going to class, my husband was home with the children, because here you cannot leave children by themselves. That's a crime. You cannot leave your children in the house unattended. If they are below 12 years old, you can't. So he used to work at night, and I would work during the day. So, and then he can do all the chores and everything when I'm at school, and then he can sleep. And then when I come home, then he can go to work. That's how we were able to do it, because you have to be cooperative, and you have to be willing to work together with each other. Because if you do not work with each other and you have children, it's going to be very hard on that family, because everyone has to do something. It's not like Kenya, like the women they are the ones who do the housework and they do the children work. No, US is very, very different. Everybody has to help. And so one of you has to work during the day, and the other one has to work during the night. So when I was in nursing school, my husband worked at night, and I went to school during the day. Now, when I finished nursing school, I had another baby. So that was more work, more responsibility. So we invited my mom. She came and stayed with us for 6 months. But then she couldn't stay forever. She wanted to go back to her home. So then we were left with nothing. So we went back I decided to be working at night. So I do 12-hour shifts at night, and my husband works during the day, because my husband does business, and business he's required. He can only do his business during the day. He's involved in real estate right now, and he can only do that during the day. So we balance. When I'm home, my husband is at work. When I am at work, my husband is at home. That's how we do our parenting. Like, you have to be on that, because if any family is planning to immigrate to come to the US, the man has to step up. I'm going to talk about the man, because it's reverse rolled in Kenya, whereby men don't go to the kitchen. Or here, men go to the kitchen, they cook, they do laundry, they take care of the children, they take them to school, they prepare them, because you are at work. And you're not going to leave work early so that you can come and prepare the kids to go to the school. It doesn't work like that here in the US. No. If I go to work at 6 p.m. and I get off at 6 a.m. And sometimes I get off at 6:30, because you have to give report and everything before you leave. So I get to my house at 7. So by 7 is when my kids, my 11-year-old is supposed to be at the bus, because she goes with the bus, and my other 5-year-old needs to be at school by 7:50. So I want to be able to take her. So when I am not there, it's my husband's turn to do it, and when I am there, it's my turn to do it. You must help each other. That's a must. Like, it's a must. Yeah. There is no way out unless you have millions of money that you have kept and you're able to hire nannies.
Yes, that's
Yeah, it
true.
won't make you.
That,
You have to work together. You work together. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. Let's see some comments here. So we have Madidis and Akothe. Hi guys. And then Julie Onyando, welcome. So she's saying people don't understand the struggles you get diaspora, especially in the beginning. It's a hassle.
They do not understand, and I've seen people come here, and their family expect them to send money because you landed in the US, you send money. Now, when you come here, you don't have any help. You have to start looking for a house, looking for a car, feeding yourself, and here bills, they just come. So sometimes you're not even able to help. So if someone is able to send you, even if it's $50 or $30, use it nicely, because they are going out of their way to send you that money. So it's people, their struggles here in the US, it's not easy. But if you work hard, you have to work hard, you will get the money, and you will be able to survive. But in the beginning, it's very, very hard for everybody who has come here in the US. It's hard, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know it's not easy. So we have Kenya Marikani, we have Mercy, Michelle, Jeff. Welcome, guys. So, guys, if you have any question about the green card, if you have any question about the green card, Charity is here to answer your questions about the green card. If you're thinking about applying the green card, just ask your question. Okay, so then after you settle in, how did you find life here? Was it different from back home? What was the difference?
It's very different, and let me just say this: that when I talk about this, I'm not talking about because I'm an attorney or anything. I'm just giving my life history when I came to the US, because I've experienced it, and when you experience something, you can talk about it. So I'm just talking about it, like, because I've done it. It's not that I'm professional or I work for immigration, or I do not work for immigration. I just talk about it because it's something that I have done, and it's something that I went through. And we learn through experiences, and we help other people through experiences. So there's so much difference here in the US as opposed to Kenya. The first thing that I noted, like even before I went, we went to a host house, was something that is called the private space. Like, like when we go to church at home, and you're seated, all of you are seated in the same spot, like you're just squeezed with each other. Now, I realized that here in the US, people like to have, they don't like to stay closer to each other. Like the way COVID has come, and 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet apart. Like they like that distancing. So you're not gonna just go and find someone is sitting on a seat, and there's one seat that is remaining, and you wanna go and sit there. No, they don't like that. They have to have their own bubble. You know what I mean? Like, they want to have that private space. And another thing that I learned is that when you're talking, how we are brought up at home, we are not used to addressing people using eye contact. So when you're talking, especially when you're talking to your parent, or you're talking to someone who's older than you tend to avoid their eyes. Now, when you come here in the US, you have to talk to someone when you're looking at them on the eye to eye. It's called eye contact. If you do not make eye contact with an American, they will say that you are lying to them, because they say that the eyes are the windows to the heart, so they know that you're lying to them. So that's something that I had to learn. And now when I'm talking to a person, I like to look at them. I make eye contact, so that they at least they see that you flow. And when you're used to talking with Americans, and they're talking to you, and you're not looking at them. Sometimes if you're close to them, you see that they are patting you like that, so that you can turn your focus on them. They like attention. So that's something that I have learned. Another thing that I had to struggle with is food, because the food here is it's like what you would go and eat in a hotel back at home. So, and sometimes you won't even afford it, because there's pizza, there's hamburgers, their chicken is made differently. Like there's this chicken that is made into small little balls and is put in flour. It's called chicken nuggets. So we didn't know all that. So it took time for us to learn those kinds of foods and to know how to consume that food. And actually, myself, I had a problem because I have so many allergies. So even right now, I live in the US, but I still eat ugali and githeri and all that stuff. But my kids do not. They will not touch that stuff. They are like, no, we don't want that one. So the food is very different. You have to learn about the food. And also you have to learn about ordering, because it's not that you are going to go to a market and buy food. Sometimes you have to go through a drive-through. So you're ordering the food in a restaurant, but you are inside your car. So you will find that because here you don't ask anybody anything, you read. So if you go to a restaurant, you find that their menu is displayed, you read from the menu, and then you go and tell them what you want. Another thing that I have that's very different from home is that you are not very close with your neighbors. Like here I live, you don't go to your neighbor to borrow salt or to borrow something. No, you have to be on your own. You can say hi to your neighbor if you're close to them, and some of them you won't even know them, because Americans are very, very private people. They're very, very, very private people. So you have to learn to live like them, because when you go to Rome, you do as Romans do. So you have to be able to adapt.
Yes.
It's very, very, very easy. It's very, very, very important for you to catch it and learn and know how to live with them. Yeah, because when you get to know them, like I have friends now, I've made friends, and when you get to know them, they're really nice. Not everybody is nice, because even in Kenya, you can't say that everybody is nice, no. But if you get to understand them and you get to know their ways, it's very easy to live with them. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody is asking, how can I get a hotel job as a chef in the USA? Stanley is asking, how can
Now,
you?
how can you get that? No, there are some people who come here through work, and I'm going to research on that. But I know there's some people who come here through work, and after I'm going to look into that, and then because I'm not very vast on that, but I know there are some people who come here with a work permit and they work. So if you go to what I know is that you go and apply for a work permit. There is a form that you fill and you send to the embassy, and then they can call you for the interview, and then they can give you a visa for a work permit. But the people that I know who live here with a work permit, they give you for a certain time. Maybe they give you for like some years, not so many, I think 3 years. 3 or 2 years. And then after that time is gone, then you have to go and renew. And they decide whether they are going to renew it for you, or if they are not going to renew it for you. So you find that those kinds of visas, sometimes they have some restrictions. The only visa that I know that doesn't have restrictions is the green card. Because when you have the green card, all those restrictions have been removed. You come here, you live as a permanent resident. You are like a citizen. The only thing you cannot do is voting, because it took us 6 years, and then we applied for our citizenship, and actually we were able to vote for Biden. So when you come here with a work permit, there are some restrictions. And if you go to their website, travel.state.gov, because that's where I read a lot of information from there, because I want to know where I did not know. You will get all that information. But you can come here, but by the grace of God, I never say that anything is not possible. I know everything is possible, but it is very possible for him to come and work here as a chef through a work visa. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Madidis is asking, please ask her, do kids pay for school fees? Like, is there public education like we have in Kenya?
Yes, there's public education here. And even if you pay very, very minimal. Like it's very minor. Like it's, what can I say? It's just a very few dollars that you pay for it. And also there are very many programs here in the US, and it depends on your income. And like I said, honesty is a very, 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 very important thing when you're living in this country. Because if now I am a nurse, so what I am paid is not the same money that I used to earn when I was a caregiver. So they look at your pay stub. You have to give them your income, how much you get, and the income of your husband, the household income. They go and look at how much you're getting. And then they look at your family size, and then they can help you through that. So you can apply, you get a lot of help. Because there is also, if you don't have enough food, you will get free lunch in the public schools. So there is so much help. So the public schools are there, and there are waivers. The waivers come depending on your income. How much do you earn? So depending on how much you earn is how you're going to get help. But the public schools, even if you're paying, they're not very expensive. On the other hand, we have private schools. Now, like when I came in, I took my children to a private school because I'm being a Catholic back at home. I felt like my children needed like that foundation. So I took them to a Catholic school. And that one you pay. If you take them to a public school, you pay. But still, even if you pay, that one is going to be a little bit expensive, but not very expensive. But you can get free lunch depending on your income. So there are ways you will afford. It's not that everything here, depending on your income, you will be able to afford. Yeah, so their public school and their private schools, it all depends on where you want to take your kids. And then after that, then I ended up like moving my kids from the private school to a public school when they were older. Yeah, so there's public schools, and it's not very expensive. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, healthcare, how is, healthcare there? Do you get to pay for it? Like, how is it?
Healthcare. Healthcare is something like very complex, and here you must have an insurance. You must have insurance for you to get good medical care. Because let's assume, when you come here, you must have a primary care physician, a doctor, your own doctor, a private doctor. And when you're going for the doctor's visits, they will ask for your for your insurance, proof of insurance, and for your address. And that's why I'm saying, if you come here with a green card, it's very easy because you will be able to access all those things. But if you came here, let's assume you have been invited, and you came and you overstayed your visa, you refuse to go back home, you're not going to be able to get something like insurance. So it becomes very hard for you because you won't be able to get a job. You won't be able to get something like insurance. So it becomes very hard for you. But if you came here with a green card, you must have insurance. You pay for it every month. And then when you go to see a doctor, you go, and if they will send you a bill, it's not going to be so much than if you didn't have insurance. Now, if you do not have insurance, the only place that you can go and you be treated is the emergency room. In the emergency room, there's a law that protects citizens, that if a citizen shows up in the emergency room, the doctors are obliged to see and treat that patient. They must do it. And then after they have treated you, then they will send you a bill later, of which it's lots and lots of money. It's a lot of money when you don't have insurance. So healthcare is good, but you have to have insurance because you will miss on so many things, and you can be in so much debt if you do not have insurance. Yeah, so you must have insurance because going to the ER is very expensive. If you want to go to the ER all the time, you're going to end up spending a lot of money in the ER. So you must have insurance here. It's required. And there was a law that they would penalize you if you didn't have insurance. But I know now they have, it's like they have waived that. They're not penalizing you in your taxes. So so when you file your taxes now, it's not like a requirement that like you must have insurance, but it's very important for you to have insurance. And then for the kids, they normally get insurance for the state, which is very cheap. So now, like my children have insurance for the state that I pay, like for the four of them, I pay very less money. But then for me and my husband, we have a different kind of insurance because we don't qualify for that one for kids. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I have always wondered, what if you don't have papers in the US and then you get sick or something? So how does it go?
Um,
Is it a
it's
doctor
hard.
or how?
Now,
Mhm.
if you don't have papers in this country, you are in trouble. And that's because if you show up in a doctor's office, the first thing that they ask you is your ID, your driver's license. Now, if you don't have papers, you're not going to have that. Because you won't get an ID. Because for you to get an ID, you have to have a social security number. Because the social security number is the one that you take for you to get for them to give you an ID. So if you don't have an ID and social security number, you won't have insurance. So you will not be seen by a private doctor. You will not be seen by a private doctor. So the only place that you can go if you do not have papers is the ER. And the ER is expensive because even in the ER, they ask for paperwork. They do ask for paperwork. So you find that it becomes very hard on those people. And most people who do not have papers, they live in fear because they know that anytime someone can show up at their door and deport them home. So it's for me, and how I have experienced and how I've seen is that the best way to be here is if you come here with a green card, it's okay. If you come here as a student, it's okay. If you come here with a work permit, it's okay. But if you do not have papers, you're going to get it rough because you can work. People, I know there are some people who give people jobs who do not have that. But at the end of the day, those people are going to exploit you. You know what I mean? Someone will take advantage of you simply because you do not have papers, right? Others will
Yes.
put you to become their babysitter. Now, babysitting here is very expensive, and you're babysitting for them for like $50 or $10. Like, what's the point? So, without papers, I wouldn't advise anybody to come to this country with this. No, don't come here with no papers. Do not come here with no papers because you will get it very rough. Like, you will get it very rough unless you get someone. I don't even know how you will survive. You don't have insurance. You don't have a job. You can't even drive. And here, who is going to be giving you a ride every day? People are busy. People work on schedule here. So nobody is able to carry the other one on their back. So you must have paperwork. And if you do not have paperwork and you're invited here to come and visit, do your visit and go back home and try to fill out the green card or any other way that you can come here with paperwork. Don't come here with no papers. It doesn't work. It does not work. No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay. And how are your kids when they got to school? How was the experience? Comparing that they had gone to school back in Kenya. So, how did they find life in school here, in America? How did they find it?
My son was when he came here, he went to 8th grade, so he was a little bit older. And when you are in 8th grade, yeah, you know a little bit of English, and you know all that. Although they have that accent, they have that accent, like the one that everyone when you talk to, they'll tell you that where are you from? Where is that accent from? So
Yes.
my son did
Yes.
very well because he was older. But on the other hand, my daughter, when we take them to school, and we lived in Nairobi, so the language there was Swahili. That's what they get to know first if you live in Nairobi. So she was a little bit confused because she knew Swahili and just a few words of English. She was only 4, and it was a little bit hard on her because she would speak to her teacher in Swahili, and then the teacher would not understand, but they have interpreters. So what we did, we enrolled her into a program. There's a program called ESL, whereby they enrolled the kids who have English as their secondary language. And actually, I would say our kids have English as their third language, right? Because we have the mother tongue, we have Swahili, and then we have English, right? So they help them with through that program called the ESL, whereby they are taught English, and then and children pick up very fast. Children below 11 years old, when we went to nursing school, they say they were teaching us and telling us if a child is below 11 years old, they can learn any language. But after that, you are not able to understand anything. Like you won't get it like the way a baby will get it. So they did very well, especially my 4-year-old did very well when she was enrolled in that program for ESL because they are very helpful. they're always willing to help. They're very helpful. And now my kids are doing well. You can't even understand what they're saying. You'll be like, what are you
Yeah,
saying?
I,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know. And
Mm-hmm.
then I wanted to ask, how is do you have lots of Kenyans, in Wichita?
Yeah, we do have a lot of Kenyans in Wichita, but I'm kind of a private person. I don't know, but I would say I'm an introvert. So I get to, and I think it's because I have small kids. So I don't see myself fitting anywhere because, when you have kids everywhere. So there are so many Kenyans in Wichita, and yeah, but I know some of them, but I don't know many of them because I chose to concentrate on my family more and my school, and just to better myself before, like, I went to the outer circle. You see what I mean? So there are Kenyans, and there are many Kenyans. Yeah, there are many Kenyans here in Wichita. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
Because in
Yeah.
Canada we are not so many of us. We are not like so many of us.
Mm-hmm.
Not like in the US, in the US you guys are so many, you even have your own churches and all this, you
Yeah,
know?
but yeah, there are churches. There are even Kenyan churches, but and I think basically for me, why I haven't been able to interact with like everybody is that because when I came in, I was a Catholic, and I not some people, most of them were Protestant, so I chose to go to a Catholic church, and so you meet in church most of the time. So I don't get to meet so many, but there are Kenyan churches, there are Kenyan organizations that people can join that help people. And yeah, there are so many Kenyans in the US, especially here in Wichita. We have so many. We have women groups, but I'm yet to join any because I am so busy right now in my life at this point of life that I feel like I cannot be able to add something else, in there. Yeah. Hmm.
So someone is asking, how does marriage green card work?
Or the marriage green card. What do you mean by makaratasi? So the marriage green card basically is whereby you get married to a person and you do not have papers.
Okay.
Um, so it can be complex and it can be good. It depends on an individual because every person has their own story to tell. So let's assume, for example, you are married, you are a woman and you get married to a man here. There are some who are very nice and it's going to go very smoothly for you and you can get the papers.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that you will get married and then in the process you will not get along and they will just make it bad for you, and because it has to be a genuine marriage. Let me just put it plain and simple. It has to be a genuine marriage, like the way I'm married to my husband, and it is genuine, and it is not that we are getting married because we want papers. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Because if you get married because you want papers, now the interview for the married people is different because they will call you in separate rooms and they will ask you questions. Now let's assume that you're married to this person for the interest of getting the papers, and you don't know this person very well. You will mess up in your interview. And when you mess up in your interview, what happens is that if you try that one and you are not married genuinely, because honesty is very important here. You are not married genuinely, and they realize that you are not married genuinely. Or maybe, Americans are different. Americans are, like the way a 4-year-old will tell everything. That's how
Yes.
they don't hide anything. They just put everything on the table. So if you get married to an American and you didn't tell them your motive, and they realize that you are getting married for them in the papers, they are gonna tell on you. And if they tell on you, and they will call. Here the phones are everywhere. The phones are everywhere and the numbers are everywhere, and they report you. Your form will be stamped as fraud. And everywhere in the US you go and you get married, you will never get papers. That's why you find that people have lived here for 30 years and they've attempted marriage. If the first one fails, you never get papers. So what I can say is that it's not that it cannot be done. When you're getting married to that person, do not get married because it's for a joke. Because for me, I take marriage very seriously. Because being married for a very long time, I take marriage very seriously. And I have had friends here who are Americans who have been married to people, and then when those people get papers, they just divorce them, and those people are shattered. Like they're shattered. Because what I believe, what I don't want someone to do to me, I'm not going to do it on another person. Not many people are going to agree with that, but that's how I see it. Because there is no way that now, right now, I am an American citizen. Let's assume that I am not married, and someone comes from wherever and they want us to get married, and as soon as they get their papers, they leave me. How does that, like, you leave that person? Those people are shattered. So unless you are genuinely getting married, that's my point of view. I know most people are not going to agree with me, but that is the moral way. If you're getting married to a person, let it be a true marriage, and be able to stick with that person even after the papers. But it's complex. It's hard. You have to know your partner very well. It works, and sometimes it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work for the first time, you will never get it, because they don't throw away the records. You know, like the way us we are used to throwing away records. Here, they don't throw away anything. You know, like the way we applied our green card 7 years ago. When I went for my citizenship interview, so that one, it was only me and that consular. He was just seated across the table from me. When I looked at his file, it had the forms that we had filled out before we came to the US. So they have all those records. Yeah, they do. So when you get married to a person and then you divorce because that person thought that it was a fake marriage, you're not going to succeed. So you have to be in there. For me, I would say, if someone asks me for such advice, I'd be like, look for someone that you can get along, get married genuinely, and that person is going to fight for you. It doesn't take long. It only takes an year. You get the green card, and 3 years you get citizenship. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's great to know about the green card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Anything else you'd like to add? I know
What I
we
can
shall be.
add, is just like life in the US is life just like any other place. For you to succeed here, you have to work very hard. You have to be able, like me, I am a nurse, but I work 2 jobs. I work 2 jobs. I do work 2 jobs. Yeah, I have my regular job and I work at an agency. So I work 2 jobs, and I have a family that I am taking care of. And I am still with my husband. I
Yes.
have not divorced my husband, and I'm not going to divorce him because I became a nurse. There was this
Yes.
conversation that I was listening
Yes,
that nurses are very
I
bad.
heard
They
of
come here.
that because yes, I heard people say when you guys go there and you start doing nursing, you earn so
Right.
much money now you divorce.
That we divorce
You
our
divorce.
husband. No, I'm not gonna divorce my husband any soon. And I know people who are nurses, successful nurses, and they have their husbands. It all depends on number one, it depends on the group that you're keeping. And I know this is like crazy because the women and children and old people hold a higher rank in the American society than the men. So, and most women take advantage of that. So what I say is that if I knew that the green card was the thing that would cause me to divorce my husband, then I wouldn't even take that route. So it all depends on respect your husband. The roles change when you come here in the US. It's not that they are not going to change. They change, but keep respect your husband, communicate, have time for each other is very important because the schedules here are crazy. You see, like me, I work 2 jobs. I have kids who are going to school, and I have all that stuff like that's going on in my life right now. And now I have a YouTube channel that I'm trying to. Are you seeing? Like, it's just crazy, you know.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that is not basis for you to divorce your husband because you became a nurse. Now you are a nurse. Now you are on the high rank. No. Another thing about the men. For a man, if you come here, then do not say that you are going to the kitchen to cook. Is a woman work. No. Here you have to help each other. You have to check on each other all the time. Just cooperate. Work. If you work together, and just deal with those issues, you will make it. But it doesn't mean that because you become a narcissist when you divorce your husband. No, there are issues that are underlying in that marriage, just like any other marriage can break in Kenya or any other place in the world. So it's all how you two decide to maneuver your life. So yeah, that's what I can say. Work hard. If you have a family, respect your husband and expect him to respect you the same way, and bring up your kids in a good way. You know, you can make it. It's not that bad. It's very nice to be here in the US. Like yeah, it's very, very nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So someone is asking, how can I apply for DV green card online?
Now it opens. There's a certain time that they open now. Like it's gonna open on October, and
Okay.
of course we'll announce in our respective YouTube channels when it's on, and it opens in October and it ends on 31st. I know it ends on 31st of October at midnight. So at that time it's open, and if someone wants to do the application, and like I said, I'm not an immigration. I don't work for immigration. This is for what I have learned and what I did. This time they require the first applicant to have a passport. So if that person wants to apply for a green card, first of all, they must have a Kenyan passport, and then it opens in October. And then after you have applied, you have to wait until May. Now, another thing, when they apply, tell them to keep their confirmation number safe, because they will need that for processing the green card when they win. We wish
Yes.
them to win. We want to be many around here.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
They make sure they don't lose it like you lost it.
Oh, mine had lost it. Believe me, let me tell you. It took us
And
2 days. And I never found it, actually. I never found my confirmation number. What I did is that I went to the computer. Oh, I really bothered that lady. So we started Googling, Google. If you lose a confirmation number, what can you do, right? So,
yes.
and then we found, so finally we found, I don't know how we found an way. So I put in the date of birth. The date of birth is very important, and my email. And then they sent it to me in my email. So I was kind of lucky. I was very persistent. Yeah, I never found
It.
I retrieved it back. Yeah, you can retrieve it. So instead of going through all that trouble of doing all that, because I was clueless about the green card. My husband was clueless. Like we did not know. Actually, I would say that my husband knew more than I did, because he did most of the processing of all that stuff. He did everything. That after we won the green card, he did everything. But I'm saying, and that's why I said that I'm gonna start my channel just to help someone who was in like darkness, like I was. You see what I mean? So make sure that you keep that confirmation number. Keep it safe, very safe. Don't lose it. You will need it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was beautiful. Guys, that was beautiful. We have learned about the green card. And her channel is Charities Bubble USA. Tell us more about your channel. Okay, what do you do on your channel? What is your content about? So that they can have an idea. Yeah.
So my channel's name is Charities Bubble USA. And mostly I talk about my journey, about the green card. I have several videos that are there talking about how the process goes and what I did. And I cite all my information from their website, because I want to be accurate in what I am saying. I also do some videos with my kids, some Christian Bible videos that I post. We do some Bible stories, and then I post them there. And I also talk about life. There's a video that I've talked about a marriage, because I feel like when we come here, we lose our way. So I'm trying to just give a new overview, because I've been married for close now to 20 years. So I can help someone out there. So for me, it's just to put out the information there for people who do not know about the green card, try to help each other, and try to see if we can have more people with us, and to enjoy this American dream. Yeah.
Yes. So, guys, make sure you go to Charities Bubble USA, subscribe for more information, like, share, and comment,
Yeah.
share that content. You may not be the one wanting the green card, but maybe your cousin, your uncles,
Mm-hmm.
your relatives, friends.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
share her videos, share her videos with relatives who might be, you never know who you are helping. You might
Right.
change someone's, someone's life with with information. And I always say, when you know something, it's better than going blindly. It's
Right.
very different. It's like the same way maybe you are getting out of the door and there is a hole, a very deep hole, just when you open your door.
Right.
When you know that there is that hole there, you know how to maneuver through
Yeah.
that hole.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have no knowledge about that
Right.
hole,
Mm-hmm.
what will you do? You just go and
Yeah, you'll
go
fall. Yeah.
inside.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So when you visit, like Charities Bubble USA, you'll learn one or two tips. How to go around the green card from experience. We know she's not an immigration, but she has done it. She has walked the walk, and she knows what she has experienced it. She will give you some tips here and there, what to do, what not to do, what to find, what not to find, things like those. So make
Yeah,
sure, guys,
and of course, even just to add to that, just basically how to live life here in the US, because you have to be very careful around here. And by myself, I would say that I chose to do what I chose to do so that I could see success and just be a good role model for my children. So we also need that to know how to live here, because we don't want people to come here and fail miserably. You know what I mean? We want them to come here and be successful
yes,
and be able like to help
for sure,
themselves. And yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, and we shall be doing more of this,
Yeah.
tell you again, I tell my experience, we help our people out and find a
Mm-hmm.
solution, because we find that not many people are willing to talk about things that happen genuinely.
Right.
Some people are sugarcoating. Yeah,
True,
we
true,
shall
true,
tell it.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we shall tell it as it is. So thank you so much, Charity. It has been an honor. It has been a
Yeah.
pleasure having you. And we hope to connect more and more and more as we
Oh,
grow,
sure, we will. We
because
will.
we learn that, yeah, we shall rise by lifting others. We help
True.
our people out there. Our mission is to help others. It's not for ourselves. Helping
Mm-hmm.
others, that is the main goal. So we shall keep doing this until, yeah, we are successful and everyone,
Yeah. Thank you for having me in your
succeeds in
show.
this journey called life. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate
So,
you for just
yeah.
inviting you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you for inviting me in your channel and just to help me grow. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah.
Yeah. No problem. No problem. I have no issues with that. We shall keep connecting until we
We
get,
will.
yeah, to,
We will connect.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And God bless you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
God bless you too, and
Yeah.
God bless your family. Okay. So we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Okay. See you. Okay.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Eric.
So, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys have learned a lot from Charity. I've been wanting someone to tell us more about. Let me remove someone to tell us more. We shall be connecting with each other so that we continue helping you guys and helping each other out. I know you guys are going to do great things in your life, I know you are on the right track. We are all on the right track because we are aiming at educating each other and help. So I will leave her links down below to my channel. Like, share, and comment. Thank you so much, and God bless you guys. See you tomorrow. I'll be having a live, and all come in and share how our week has been. Thank you. Bless you so much. I love you guys. Bye.